everyone, so yesterday we talked about Independence, our newer bald eagle. Today we're going to talk about Spirit, who's our seasoned veteran. We've been working with her for many, many years. She's been out here at the Southeast Raptors. She's made flights in Jordan-Hare Stadium, and today we're going to learn a little bit more about her, as long as you can hear me over her talking. So this is Spirit. Now, lots of you, I'm sure, know Spirit. You've seen her up close, probably. She has been at Auburn since pretty early on. I think she came here in 1999, and then she began flying in the stadium in 2002. And so she is actually our oldest bird at the center right now. She is, let's see, she's going to be 24, or she is 24 this year. They're born around this time of year. It's a little late for them now, probably. But she is 24 years old this year. So you can see she's got that white head, white tail. She is definitely an adult. She is over 5 years old. They can live to be about 30 years old. So she's getting up there in age. Like I said, she is 24 years old. So that white head will spin around and let you see that white tail on her, which if you've been to the games, you've seen that white head, white tail. So she's fairly easy to pick out when we're flying her in the stadium because of that white coloration that separates her from the golden eagles, which are pretty much brown all over. Now, everyone always asks us, what happened to her beak? We don't know. She won't say unless she's trying to say right now, in which case I don't understand bald eagle. So she is saying, but I just don't know what she's saying. So she actually came to us like that. Well, actually a facility in Florida. She was found with an injured wing, which healed up just fine, and then that injured beak. Beaks are made out of the same stuff as your fingernail. It's keratin. So it's constantly growing, and she damaged it so severely that it doesn't grow back correctly anymore. And so because of that, even though she can catch her food successfully, her talons still work. But she can no longer tear it apart fast enough. It would take her too long in the wild to tear apart all those fish that she might be catching. Here at our facility, we can give her either smaller chunks, or she has really all day to tear apart her fish, or whatever it might be that we're feeding her, the rats, the quail, whatever it might be. Now, she weighs in at about 7 pounds. She's on the smaller side. We like to fly her on game day at 3,030 grams. And so, besides Nova, who's a male, which again, males are smaller than females. He's also a different species, of course. But she is our smallest female. Now, even though her and Indy are both from Florida, she is on the smaller side of a female. But that's just a little bit of that differentiation between each individual bird. So they can come in a variation of sizes. Just because she's small doesn't necessarily mean that she's a male. We've had her DNA tested, and she is indeed a female. Now, they're full grown again when they are about 4 months old. So she was this size when she was about 4 months old, not an adult until about 5 years old. And then, like I said, she is 24 years old this year. And so out in the wild, she'd be a great-great-great-great-great-grandma by now. Now, bald eagles, while we're talking about, babies and all of that, bald eagles build huge nests. Their nests can weigh over a ton and be bigger than an 8x8 tarp. And so they build these huge nests. They add to them each and every year. I don't really know why. If it was good enough to have babies the first year, why do you have to have a bigger nest the next year? That's just how they do it. They keep adding it and adding to the nest and making it larger and larger each and every year. So they have these huge nests, usually, of course, by water, or at least kind of close to water, because they're catching those fish and all those wetland water animals. Maybe it's a turtle, whatever it might be. Now, another common question or just even comment that we get when we have Spirit out is, oh, she must be angry because she's talking. I don't really know why that's people's first thought. I mean, nobody ever probably walks outside and says that cardinal must be angry because it's, talking. Songbirds, nobody ever thinks of them being angry when they're talking. But for whatever reason, people always think that Spirit's angry. She's not. She's actually excited. She knows that people equals food. And so since I'm right in front of her, She's very talkative right now because she's excited. She thinks that she's about to get fed, which actually once I'm done with this video, she is going to get fed. But that's just a noise of kind of excitement. It's not angry, it's not nervousness, it's excitement. So she is talkative, and the other eagles are talkative when they're excited. So that's that noise that you hear. And that's one of the common noises you can hear with bald eagles, but they also make a different noise. It's called a cackle. You'll hear that lots of times when they see another one. It's more territorial, in my opinion. Anytime she sees a bald eagle flying above, she kind of turns her head to the side and she makes that cackle noise. It sounds a little bit more like laughing than the noise that she's making right now. Now, like I said, she weighs in at about 7 pounds, has that 6-foot wingspan. So she has about the same wingspan as Nova, about the same wingspan as Independence that we talked about yesterday. So she's about the same wingspan of them, but she is a little bit lighter than Independence is. And like I said, she is 24 years old, so she's our seasoned veteran. We don't know when she'll stop flying in the stadium. That's really up to our veterinarian. They get exams twice a year, and as long as they pass their physical exam and they're still willing to fly, it's all their choice. We don't ever force them to fly. As long as they're still willing to fly, then they're able to fly in the stadium as long as they pass their physical exam and they're willing and ready to fly, which Spirit usually is willing and ready to fly. So far, she's the only bald eagle that we've flown in Jordan-Hare Stadium, but like I said yesterday, Independence is being worked into that rotation, so hopefully you'll see her in the coming years. And then since Spirit is getting up there in age, we'll probably be working her out of the rotation. Again, that beak should be sharply hooked, but since it's damaged so severely, it doesn't hook anymore. Like all raptors should have that sharply hooked beak. And then of course she has those sharp grabbing talons that she would love to use to catch the fish with. And then like we talked about yesterday, her feathers won't come all the way down because she's in the category of fish eagles. And so they stop because they just kind of dip their feet in the water. Now, the other type of eagle that you can see near water, and we actually had one fly over our amphitheater yesterday, is the osprey. Now, the osprey will dive their entire body underneath water. We don't have an osprey. We're not going to be talking about one, but it is another type of raptor that you can see near the lakes. But these birds, they don't have to be near the lake all the time. We've seen bald eagles fly over Jordan-Hare Stadium before the games before. We always panic a little bit, make sure it's not Spirit. And we've seen them fly over the Raptor Center before. And so they don't have to be near water all the time. They, of course, go cruising around. But they usually are found near water. That's an easier spot to see these birds. So that's a little bit about Spirit. We've covered bald eagles these last 2 days. Hopefully you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about Independence and then Spirit, who you've seen, I'm sure, many, many times. Thanks for tuning in. Keep watching these videos. I don't really know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I kind of am just winging it day by day. A little bird pun for everyone. But thanks for tuning in. Keep sharing these videos. Thanks for tuning in. War Eagle.